we've been your job search besties and helped you in some way, there's a cool way you can support the show. Shout us a virtual coffee.
We get a huge kick out of reading all of your success stories. Head to buymeacoffee.com/interviewboss and shout us a cuppa.
If you keep us caffeinated, we can keep the content coming. So remember, people leave every single day and people are replaced every single day. The people care about you, they love you, but the company, you are a number, they will replace you.
That's right.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Interview Boss. My name is Emma. I'm a radio journalist who's teamed up with my sister to give you advice, inspiration, and support when you're looking for a new job. Sarah is a HR and recruitment professional, and together we're excited to give you all the tips, tricks, and behind-the-scenes knowledge to help you in your career.
Hey Em, and welcome back our incredible listeners. This is every single time our favourite part of the podcast. It's the Shoot Your Shot shout out. This is where we shout out you guys, our incredible listeners all around the world. You've gone out there, you've shot your shot, you've used some tips, you've used some advice, and you've come back to tell us all about it. And this week, our shout out recipient is Alex, who bought us 20 coffees, 20. Holy
So
moly.
insanely generous.
Alex is basically personally paying for production of this week's episode.
Totally. Alex said, "Hi, Emma and Sarah. Excuse the essay, but this is a very big heartfelt thank you note. I wanted to shout you a coffee for ages, but wanted to hold off until I hit the goal of job change. I'm officially week 2 into the job, and I couldn't have done it without you. Truly. I've been a massive fan of your podcast for a long time. I might even have a shot at #1 listener. That's impressive. And I did a one-on-one coaching session with Sarah early on. Back then, I didn't know exactly what I needed, but the session prompted me to do some deeper digging and spend some time figuring out the journey I wanted to go on. The insights I gained from you both helped me across a wide range of things. Applying for Marketing Academy, I even got down to the very last round, getting involved in volunteering with selective interview round, how to approach some of the tougher career subjects with mentees and direct reports, and finally applying for new roles. I ultimately made the call to wait it out for the big job, and patience and persistence have paid off. It's a role that makes my tail wag and is a new industry that I can still bring my experience to. I've recommended you to just about everyone I know and will continue to. Your work has made such an impact on my life, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, legends."
I think if you're not in a job that makes your tail wag, metaphorically, then it just ain't it.
That just became my new favourite saying. That's so wholesome.
I know, isn't it? Because you just know exactly what that means straight away. You're like
nervous, excited, puppy energy wagtail.
Yeah, and also a tail wag is not it's not changing the dog's life every time it wags its tail, is it? It's just the normal things that makes it happy. That's such an achievable thing to go for. I really love that. And also when I read this from Alex, I went back and had a look at our coaching session. I was like, oh, I remember talking to Alex, and I remember we went through some marketing stuff, and I think there was some bigger kind of career questions that we talked about, but I genuinely remember it being a really, really good conversation and thinking oh yeah, we had some big light bulb moments in that talk. So I'm so glad it all worked out, and there's been some awesome lessons and #1 listener.
What a loyal listener, going all the way back to the very start. So, so good. And if you want results like Alex and need a little bit of help to get there, you can check out Sarah's one-on-one interview coaching sessions, completely tailored to your needs. You fill out an intake form beforehand to tell Sarah what you want to focus on, whether it's specific questions before an interview. She does also offer career coaching for those more vague kind of
where do I go next kind of thing. Do I quit my job? Or, what should I apply for? Why am I not getting anywhere in my job search? A whole bunch of different stuff you can talk about. And like Alex, maybe you can have some awesome light bulb moments that get you some results straight away, but also still stick with you months or even years later. Or if you need a comprehensive interview prep package, check out Interview Academy. I am working on some really cool, exciting upgrades to Interview Academy. So pro tip, there's going to be some new features. So maybe you should go and check it out. interviewboss.com.au/coaching to look at both of those options.
As always, if you loved one of our episodes, used a tip that we sent you, or want to request an episode specifically on your situation or industry, you can kindly follow us on Instagram, slide into our DMs, and we could dedicate a whole episode to you. We recently did this with a lovely listener who sent us a voice note, and we got back to them just in time to help them with their conundrum. So this week, we're talking about how to actually tell your boss you're quitting without spiraling and crashing out. It's a very hard thing to do.
It feels really hard for some people. And I think I don't necessarily understand this because I've been on the other side for too long. And so I don't really, this is one that I can't grasp the extremeness of the feelings. I get that it's just like a bit of an awkward conversation, that I completely understand. But the way I hear from people that they're terrified to resign, I kind of don't get it.
I think I can chime in here. Yeah, I don't think I'm absolutely petrified, but like this would definitely be giving me extreme anxiety, and like I would want to have multiple conversations with someone in my life and like step through it, and like, yeah, it's not something that I'm just going to waltz in and do. Like I'll be spiraling, definitely. So
yeah, okay, interesting. I would be maybe spiraling over the decision to resign. But the actual, once I decided, the conversation part, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a bit awkward, but it is what it is. I've decided. But hey, that's because I know how these things work, and because I've seen so much that it just...
You're desensitized.
That's right, which is a good thing. And that's what we're going to try and do in this episode, is to give you some of the context that I already have to help you feel a little bit better about it. So what are the things that are making it hard, Em? What do you think? What's going through your mind? If you had to like walk into your boss's office tomorrow and resign, what would you be panicking about?
The blindsidedness, because if I were to resign tomorrow, my boss would be absolutely floored, like totally floored.
Like you've done too good of a job of thinking everything's happy, and then suddenly, oh my God, what do you mean?
Yes, and like feeling like blindsided. And I think some people who have certain relationships with their boss, where you've got a legend of a boss who's like invested in your career and is very aware that this current job isn't like your be all and end all, and they kind of help you and they know that. But I think that's one camp of people, and the other camp is like just not that. So I would be really scared of like blindsiding and then having to answer the why, because naturally, okay, I went and...
Talk me through this. What do you mean?
Okay, well, like I know that in an earlier episode we did about resigning, I listened to it recently, you said just keep it very brief. Like you don't even need to say why, where. It's just, hi boss, I'm resigning. And I laughed out loud because I was like, in what world is that how a conversation's going to go with your boss, where they just go, no worries, Emma, see you around. Like that's not how it's going to go. It's going to be like, oh, no way. Oh, I thought you would love it. Oh, where are you going? Oh, wow. Is there anything we could like?
See, I know that you think that, and I'm not going to tell you that that never happens, because I'm sure it does. But I think you would be very surprised at how little of a reaction people are going to have.
Possibly, but
they might ask you later.
Yeah.
But in the moment when they're blindsided, is there anything we could have done? Like, oh, as if. Nobody's thinking of that.
Well, like, I don't know, in my experience, every time someone's resigned at my workplace recently, they've been in there closed door for an hour and they hash out their whole life story and their whole reasoning.
Do you talk to them afterwards? What do they say?
Yeah, it is. Like,
Did they get grilled?
No, yeah, yes. Like my employees are like, oh, like what's behind this? Like we, not in a like, how dare you way, just like in a, tell me about your plans. And yeah, it ends up being like an hour long heart to heart. So that's what I feel like I have to prepare for.
You have to prepare for the heart to heart.
Yes. You don't get it. Everyone listening is going to be like, yes, like, I'm sorry, but no boss is just going to go, no worries, thanks for your service. Like, especially, okay, I'm on board with you. I understand that we should all desensitize a bit and it's never going to be as bad as we drum up. But like in a job like mine, where I don't know. It's a bit niche. It's highly skilled. We really struggle to find people. It has like me leaving, and I'm likely to leave, and there's not going to be a replacement in time. And it's going to, like, the station is going to suffer. They're going to have to play national news. Like, naturally, the conversation doesn't just go like, oh, no worries, see you later. It's like, shit, what are we going to do?
Yeah, we're going to get into that by the end. Let's revisit this conversation and see if you understand where I'm coming from a little bit more by the end. Because it's not that I don't think that you have to prepare at all for what to say. It's just that a heart-to-heart is a heart-to-heart. Like, you're not being grilled. If they're like, well, look, is this what you want to do with your career? And like, I don't know, like you'd be like, yeah, well, look, I'm really excited about this part. And it's just a genuine conversation that you're having at that point because it's a person that you know and that you've worked with a lot. Anyway, we'll touch base at the end and we'll see how you feel about it. And same with all the people listening along. I think it can feel selfish sometimes because it's like, I should stay, I should suck it up. I'm going to make other people's life worse because I'm trying to make my own life better.
I don't claim that. No, that plays no part in my stress.
You don't feel bad that other people are
No.
getting your workload? You just said the station would suffer.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not going, oh, I can't better my career because my poor colleague no, that's not part of it.
It's not that you can't better your career. You just feel bad. That's why you feel awkward. That's why the conversation's hard. Anyway, maybe they've been good to you. Maybe your boss has been good to you. Maybe they gave you a chance at the start. I've seen people really struggle with resignations where they've been there a long time, or like they started as a junior, or that company helped them change jobs or something like that. Like it was a harder conversation because that company was the only reason that they were able to make this new career move kind of thing. Maybe it's really bad timing, like someone else has just resigned and you think, oh shit, it's going to be worse when I leave. Like, in the back of your head, you're interviewing and that person's just resigned and you're like, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah. Or like leading into a really busy period at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are other reasons? It just, people don't know how to prepare for the conversation. I think, is it the conversation itself?
The conversation, but also the unknown. It feels like you have anxiety about it. So you want to kind of prepare for the possible and be ready for the possible things that they might say, but you don't know what they're going to say because they're a person and they could react anyway. They could be really blunt and cold and be like, all right, thanks. Or they could grill you and do the heart to heart. And I think the not knowing feels uncomfortable.
I actually think a lot of people don't know how to resign at all, which always surprises me. Separate to the worrying about the conversation, as much as I don't personally experience that, I understand it's an awkward conversation. It's a tough conversation. People avoid all kinds of tough conversations in their life. But it's the not knowing how to resign when you're quite experienced in your career. I've had a lot of people just completely not know how it works, not check. And that's why we did that first episode about you need to check your notice period. You can't just say 2 weeks. Like, you have to look at what is in your contract. You also need to tell them what your last day is going to be. You need to write it down. It doesn't have to be a printed letter or that's signed or anything. It just has to be maybe an email or like, and then people are always really confused about like what happens next and paperwork and stuff. And like, well, there's not really any paperwork on the way out as much as there is on the way in, unless you're in a place where there's like health insurance or something. That might be in certain countries. But yeah, people really don't know how to do it. And so we're going to shed some light. Here's how we're having the conversation. Now, if you haven't listened already to our other episode on resigning, go and listen to that first. That's some of the practicalities around doing it correctly as a process. In this conversation, in this episode, we're focusing on that conversation. What are you actually going to say? How are we handling the scary part of it? Like the letter, we've got a resignation template that you can get for free. That part's pretty straightforward. Like all the other parts are kind of procedural. This one is a little bit more human.
Yeah, obviously it's going to be awkward. It really is. There's no way around that though. And it's 5 minutes of awkwardness. And that is not a good enough reason to stay. I don't think anyone's actually not going to go ahead with resigning just because it's awkward, but it is anxiety inducing.
Yeah, but I think they might put it off and have signed the contract with the new job and have still not told their boss for a few days, or like be waiting for the right time, or I don't know, it's 5 minutes of awkwardness. Get it out of the way. Your life is going to be worse if you don't do it right. Like you could actually, if you put off this conversation because of it's awkward, or you just avoid it and you just write the letter and email it to HR and not talk to your boss, you could create a new problem for yourself instead of just 5 minutes of awkwardness and it's over.
And to combat that awkwardness, send an email to request a time to catch up, to resign, because then you can't blame the like, oh, but every time I go in there, you know, they're in a meeting or they're busy. No, we're scheduling it in, so then you're forced to do it. So remember, people leave every single day and people are replaced every single day. The people care about you, they love you, but the company, you are a number, they will replace you.
That's right.
You're not asking permission to leave. You're not going in there to plead your case and hope that they give you your blessing. You're sharing a decision. Hey, this will affect you. This is a decision I've made. Thank you very much.
That's right. And I think that can help with going in there because you're not asking for a raise. It's not like those kind of conversations where you need their participation. This is you are informing them of the decision that you've already made. And you are, I don't know, I think these things will probably help someone. If you think about the employment relationship in the terms of like the contract that you have, your obligation is to do the work that you've agreed to do in exchange for XYZ benefits, salary, whatever, insurances, superannuation, retirement, whatever that is. And that contract says, here's how either party can end this relationship by giving this much notice. This is our agreement. This is how it works. You're just exercising that part of the agreement. You didn't promise them forever. Nobody promised a set amount of time.
That's true. Now, rule number 1, no lying, okay? No fibbing, no Phoebe McGee. I feel like I could be prone to this, just panicking and being like, when they're like, oh, why, what, we didn't, and then me just being like, well, my uncle has passed away and so I need to move, or like, I don't know, just going completely rogue.
Just coming up with something that makes it feel easier, like a softener. And I think I'm preparing for your eye roll. I'm really zooming in here. I think this...
Dating.
Yeah. What would it relate to?
Breaking up with someone. You're not going to avoid breaking up with them just because it's going to hurt their feelings.
Or lying about like, oh, it's really, I'm busy at work, or like just some bullshit. And you're like, hey, we're not getting along anymore. It's not working. Like the lie makes it worse because, okay, we had this example in our DMs actually once, and this wasn't what the person was reaching out about. They were reaching out about something else. But part of their dilemma was that they didn't have that many references or like a good kind of history in their work history. And one of those reasons was because early in their career, they didn't handle the exit very well. They had great relationships there. They loved their team. They had a great boss, but they left for, I think it was like a full-time job because the other job like couldn't give them enough hours. So like such a valid reason to leave.
The most textbook, straightforward answer.
I know. And like anyone is going to understand that. Even if they don't want you to, they still are going to understand. And instead, they said, oh, I'm moving overseas. They made up a lie about something family, something moving overseas.
I'm literally fleeing the country.
Yep. The team found out after they'd left. And so imagine the conversations that team and that boss were having of going, she lied.
Yeah.
She just went to this company and she lied to us after we thought we got along really well. She just lied and said she was moving just so she could go to this company. Isn't that awful? Like she would have had such a great reference and just that little lie got in the way. So we don't need to lie. If you really don't want to tell the full story, then we're just going to not give extra information.
Another thing that we're not going to do is overshare or over-explain or over-apologize. This has my name written on it. I feel like I would just start blabbing and be like, I guess like, well, when I started here 5 years ago, blah, 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 and it's been an amazing journey. Fast forward
my sister
though,
had
like,
a baby and I took it over.
And, my car broke down earlier this year. So, like, I'm trying to get back on track.
And,
like,
the financial stress. Yeah.
Me and my partner feel like, what's our future here?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is totally what I would do.
We've recently had an extra kid and blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever the story is and you're adding all these things, you don't need to add those things. Like, don't get me wrong, this is your boss. If you get along and you want to talk about it and you want to have the heart-to-heart, cool, you can share whatever you want.
What if the reason is like, not something gnarly, like I hate everyone here, but what if the reason's like kind of because of the company a little bit, but you still want to be honest. Like, yeah, look, I've consistently never been given the opportunity for growth, pay rises. Like, I'm just kind of cruising by here going stale, and I just desperately need something new because I'm totally flatlining here. Like, that's a genuine thing. You're not hating on them, but
I think in that situation, I would hope that, okay, let me assume some things. If you feel comfortable enough to share that with your boss, I'm going to assume that maybe you've got a pretty good relationship with your boss and the company hasn't, given you the things that you needed in order to stay. I'd say you probably would have had conversations about that, right? Like either formal or informal or just in general of like asking for more, wanting to do more. That's going to make that really, really easy if you do want to share. Hey, we've talked about, me wanting to do this and that, and look, those things haven't worked out. And look, this job is going to give me those opportunities. And it's a shame that I wasn't able to do these here, but it's very handy if you're able to touch on something that you've already talked about.
It's also possibly a little bit like self-explanatory. If there's been a history of you going in and unsatisfied and unhappy, kind of speaks for itself if you're then resigning for a better opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll talk about that a little bit in a later section as well.
Okay, I'm feeling so personally attacked by all of these. We're also not going to pretend that we were happy as Larry, not even looking, and the job fell in our lap. I would definitely do this.
Oh, I'm not even looking. Oh, I just, the opportunity came up and it's like, oh yeah, you're trying to allude to just somebody knocked on your door and offered you a job.
Yeah, this would be me because I'm so happy at work every day. Everyone thinks I do love my job, but it appears that I love my job.
So in your hypothetical resigning scenario, it would be out of the blue.
It would make me feel like I'm a fraud for having secretly been applying when on the outside I look happy.
Yeah. And I think that does happen to people. Like you are happy, but you also want a different thing for a particular reason.
I just haven't got to the point where I'm like, I hate this place, get me out of here. You're just soft looking.
Yeah, that's right. And you're desperately applying for other things. That's very normal. It's so normal. There's not just like binary happy, will never leave, and I hate this place, I'm applying for jobs, while I'm sitting at my desk. That's just not the case. Like my very, very first job in agency recruitment, which I was really not very good at, one of the things you start out doing a lot is calling candidates and checking in. So these are candidates that have registered with the agency previously and you're just kind of calling to check in and see what their current situation is. And a lot of the time they're in jobs and they're not really actively looking, to be applying for things. But almost every single one was still happy to be told about something that would really, really fit them.
Your new job adjacent. You're like,
that's right.
You're like, I'm happy here, but if something great comes along, you better tell me.
And it doesn't mean that they would actually take it ever, but they've got one eye on other opportunities. That's honestly the majority of people. So you do not have to pretend that this job fell in your lap. And I think it's really weird when people pretend that.
I just went to get a coffee and then I tripped and fell and I ended up in the interview room. It was wild in front of a panel. And then
somebody's just given me this contract.
I just got disoriented and my hand started jerking and I signed the dotted line. It was wild.
And now I have to leave.
I was sleepwalking and I just negotiated my new salary.
And I'm really sorry. I wish there was a way that I could reverse the decision, but it's not, I had nothing to do with it.
Someone put a spell on me.
I think that's where it might come from. It's like, it's the imposter thing, like you said, but it's also like you're trying to shift the blame a little bit. Like, oh, well, it was the recruiter. Like, I would have never known. I would never have like looked for other jobs and cheated on you.
I feel like actually I'm calling out everyone that got headhunted. They will do this because it feels like an excuse. Like maybe it wasn't advertised. You got called and then it's like,
oh, I was actively applying for jobs. Yeah. But for this particular one, someone did actually reach out. So I'm not going to talk about how I was, horrifically unhappy for 6 months. I'm just going to reference the fact that somebody reached out to me.
They headhunted me. I had a target on my back. I was doomed from the start.
If it did actually happen, if you were reached out to for the job and you really feel like mentioning it, sure, put it in there. But I had to throw this in because I think it's one of the coping mechanisms that people use. And I just don't think it's necessary. You don't need to add that in there. It's okay. You can talk instead. We'll get into the role play of what you will say instead. And I'll give you some other options that I think will ease this same feeling of like, you want to show that you feel bad, I guess. You want to show a little bit of empathy. There's different ways to do that rather than saying like, it was against my will. Hey, Interview Boss listeners, if the podcast just isn't doing it for you and you need way more help to prep for your next interview, we have the perfect thing for you. Interview Academy. Em, tell us all about it.
This is huge. This is the love child of Sarah after doing hundreds of one-on-one coaching sessions, finding out what people struggle with the most, common mistakes. Sarah has created the ultimate course that you can do in your own time, self-paced, heaps of modules, videos, interactive quizzes, a workbook that will become your Bible by the end that you can take with you into your interview, because if you're a long-time listener, you know that we endorse taking notes into your interview. It's a game changer.
Check out more about it at interviewboss.com.au/interview academy.
Yeah. And you can tell them about the role that you've accepted. They'll find out eventually. I'm team do this from the start. Like, I can't imagine a world in which you're like, I've taken a new role. Can't say what though. I think it's giving the people that post photos of their hospital band and they're like, rough night, no one messaged me. Like, they want everyone to be like, what happened?
What happened?
You okay? But they're like, I can't tell you. Like, why are you posting it then? And also, my office is so nosy in the most beautiful way. Once the colleagues find out, everyone, oh, no way, where are you going? It would be so weird if you were like.
After people come out of their 1 hour conversation, they're like,
yeah, once that
going?
shut door conversation happens.
And I think I get the feeling of secrecy. Like, if you haven't signed the contract, well, first of all, you shouldn't be resigning. I really don't think you should be resigning at all until it's signed. I kind of understand where the secrecy comes from because it feels a little bit like, oh, well, what if something happens to it or something like that? But it doesn't make sense in this case. Like, I see where it translates from other parts of the job search world and stuff where like you're not going to tell someone where else you're interviewing or other things you might be secretive about. But with this one, I find it a little bit odd because like
you're going to post on LinkedIn in a month to say,
right,
so excited to share my new job.
Yeah. Or someone's going to run into you in a month and it's not like you're going to not tell them where you're working. Like, that's just it's not like you're secretive about your career in general. If you're, well, maybe you are. If you're going to work for the CIA or a spy agency or whatever, yeah, I mean, maybe probably don't tell them or do tell them and make it a lie.
Remember when you wanted to be a spy?
Oh my God, I really wanted to be a spy.
You went through a spy phase.
I really did.
What was the gadget we had that would sit in hallways or something?
Yeah, it went across your door. It was like a motion detector kind of thing. That was one of my favorite gadgets.
That's where it all began, and it was a downhill gadget journey from there.
I know. Or uphill gadget. Do you know the uphill downhill thing? Have you ever thought about this?
No.
This drives me crazy. When you realise your mind is going to be blown. Oh, it's all downhill from here. A bad thing, right? Oh, it's all downhill from here. You're on a bike. It's easy. It's downhill. Easy.
This is the glass half full, glass half empty phenomenon.
It's the same phrase. Oh, it's going to be all uphill from here. Oh, you're pedaling really hard. It's going to be hard work. Harder. It's going to get only harder from here on out.
Like if you're on rock bottom, well, it's only you can only get better from here.
Only uphill from here. They're used interchangeably and they mean the opposite of each other. You can normally work it out with context, but it's such a useless phrase because I don't know what you mean.
Wow.
You're going to hear it next time now and you're going to be like, do they mean good or bad? I don't know.
Don't overthink it. Now, you can tell them a general reason why you're leaving if you like. I would definitely do this if I was resigning. I think I just would combust and it would feel like I was keeping secrets. I feel like I would need to give a reason, but like a 2-sentence reason, not a ramble of my whole life story.
That's right. And it's the cleaned up kind of reason. It's not the full, all the different things that have happened in your life story and how you got there, but it's like, look, it's more responsibility. Or look, at this point, it actually is just about money and, this is the offer and whatever. Yeah, for sure. Like, share a bit of a reason. So now we're going to get into what do we actually say? Because I think this is really, really hard. What do you say first? I fully believe that the rest of the conversation, like, they're a person. You know how to talk to a person that you work with. You know this person. The rest of it is going to be a little bit easier after you've started it off. I think the booking the meeting, like, how do you do that? Then sitting down, like, what do you say? You're sitting across from them like, so, you wanted to see me, Sarah? Well, here's what you're going to say. This is the conversation starter. And let me know how this lands with you. I wanted to let you know I've been offered a new job and I've decided to accept it.
No way. No. Oh. Wait, I'll be the boss.
What do you think about that exact phrasing?
That sounds good. Factual, to the point. You're not spluttering.
In my mind, there's 3 parts to it. The first bit, I wanted to let you know. I think that helps people because you're not just coming out and saying, I'm resigning. Like, that feels really brutal. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I wanted to let you know. And you are having a conversation with them as a courtesy instead of just sending this formally. I've been offered a new job. I like that. It's a little bit softer than like, I quit, I'm leaving kind of thing. And then you're saying, and I've decided to accept it. It kind of separates those 2 things. Like, I've accepted a new job. I think you could do that too if you're comfortable with it. But that, to me, I feel like I wouldn't say those words. I would say I've been offered a new job and I've decided to accept it. Because to me, that genuinely would have been the process. Maybe I was interviewing, but I don't know until at the end whether I'm actually going to take that job or not. So I have been offered it, but that wasn't the only reason that I've taken it, just because I've been offered it.
Yeah, it's because it's the best decision for me.
That's right. So I have been offered a job and also I've decided to accept it. They're 2 kind of things that go together for me. So try that out, see how it goes. I want us to do a little role play though, because I think, as you said, you're like, well, then what happens next? How do they react? What are they going to say? So here's how I think most resignation conversations are going to go, a little bit like this.
Okay, we'll do your textbook version that in an ideal world, you think this is what most bosses would say. Then we'll do a version with what I imagine my boss would say if I was to resign. All right. So, you've just told me you're going to accept a new job. I, as the boss, say, oh, wow. All right. So when's your last day?
Well, my notice period is 3 weeks. So my last day will be Friday, the X date of X month. I'll send it through in writing later today. I've got a letter and everything, but I wanted to make the time to have a conversation with you in person first.
Got it. So what's the new gig?
Well, I'm going to ABC company and it's a supervisor role actually. So, a bit more responsibility and I think it seems like a really good fit for me right now.
Oh, well, great. I mean, congratulations. I'm sad to see you go, but of course, happy for you in this new step.
Thanks. I've really appreciated working with you and with the team, and let me know if there's anything in particular you need me to do for handover. I'll get started on putting a couple of things down and making sure there's some notes.
That seemed too simple. Then what? Then, okay, all right, see you around. Cool.
I just think when you talked about at the beginning, people are being caught off guard or like blindsiding your boss or whatever, they're hearing this brand new information. They don't know what to say.
And most of the blindsiding we'll be doing once you leave, and then they're processing and thinking about all the next steps, and then they have to tell like their boss. That's when all the like profoundness of it sinks in, not in that moment.
And so they might have a different conversation with you afterwards, maybe, or maybe want to know more, or like there might be more bits that come up later where they want to get into what happened, or like maybe they do want to counter offer you and bring you back in or whatever. But I just think in that first conversation, they might ask a little bit more information than that, or they might be like, oh my gosh, wow, okay, so when's the next thing? Like, I think, really think about it. I think it would be kind of rude of them to not accept your decision, to be like, to consider it as a challenge to debate you about whether you should go or not. Like, that's almost disrespectful.
Let's do a role play of what I imagine my boss would say. That doesn't mean it is what they would say. This is the anxiety in my brain. Okay, so after I've said, I wanted to let you know that I've been offered a new job and I've decided to accept it, I imagine them going, oh, what? You're kidding. I thought you loved what you do here. What's gone wrong?
Okay, and what's the context? Am I like leaving to a direct competitor, or what's going on? Am I moving? Because that's an easy one.
No, you're just leaving for greener pastures.
Something different. Okay. Yeah, look, honestly, I really do love what I do, but there's a couple of reasons. I mean, I just am looking at my longer term career really and thinking about what I really want for my life. I would love it if I could stay in this industry and earn what I wanted and also have the work-life balance that I wanted, but I don't see that happening for me here.
Okay, then I imagine them saying like, But just last week, I organised this epic opportunity for you that you'd really wanted. And, we got your pay rise 2 months ago. I thought things were all going well. The timing of you just got something that they perceived to be something that would have made you stick around.
Yeah, look, I really, really appreciate that. And honestly, I wasn't unhappy and really actively looking, but I do just keep an eye out for various different things that come up because, there's not a whole lot in a really niche industry. And so I've always really kept a bit of an eye on it. And this role was really exciting to me. And look, it was a tough decision when I did actually get offered the role about what I was going to do, but it's the right decision for me and for my family. And it's something that I've got to do.
And then I imagine them being like, oh, the roster, oh God. So what's the date? How are we going to do this? I mean, so-and-so's off and we're just coming into this, blackout period.
Yeah, well, look, my notice period is 3 weeks. And look, I want to make sure that I give you that full 3 weeks. So I've told the new job that I can't start until after that because I'm going to do as much as I can to help with the handover.
I just can't believe you'd do this to me.
There you go. Kidding. That would never happen. That's what's in your head though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If that was their reaction, I can't believe you would do this to me. That says more about them than it says about you.
Yes, it's outrageous.
Because they're taking a work thing personally, individually personally, you making a decision about your life and your career personally. Let's imagine that you were resigning because you were moving to a different city. Would they say the same thing then?
No.
I can't believe you could do this to me. No. And so it's an inappropriate expectation that they're putting on you that it's your fault of all the consequences that are going to happen. It's not at all.
Okay, now let's dive into some sticky, tricky situations because there's some nuance to this if you're, let's say, resigning from a job that you just started. You haven't been there long, but something that's your dream job, way cooler, popped up. How do you handle that?
I think what I've done here is I've got little snippets of what you could add into the conversation. So again, I don't think you can really prep the whole thing because you don't know exactly how it's going to go. But these are things that you could add in that might make you feel a bit more comfortable about how you're delivering it. So I think you kind of acknowledge, look, I know I've only been here a short time. This wasn't really something that I planned, but this role has come up and it's something that I had to do. Again, you don't have to say, oh, I didn't even look for it. We don't need to add that part in, but it's okay to acknowledge, I know I've only been here a short time. And saying that this wasn't something that you planned, I'm assuming if it's a job you've just started, I'm assuming you didn't plan to start there and then leave straight away. I'm assuming that wasn't your plan because otherwise you would have just waited and taken the other job. So I think sharing that, being look, this hasn't been some big plan and scam to have you go through this whole process to hire me and train me. I'm sorry, it happens.
What about resigning from a close-knit team?
Again, I think you share that part of hey, this has been hard for me for this reason. This team has meant a lot to me and it's the thing that honestly made me want to stay. And it was a really hard decision. But, ultimately it's the decision that I've come to.
What about resigning when your boss is already under pressure?
I really didn't want to add to the workload. I know how tough things are around here and I've thought carefully about the timing, considered turning the role down or looking at whether I could extend a little bit longer, but the opportunity can't wait. The new job needs me to start and it's something that I'll regret if I don't do it now.
This one is the diciest, resigning to leave to a competitor, which in media, like my industry, this is the ultimate sin and you'll be marched out that day to not.
That's the case in a lot of industries. In a lot of industries, if you leave to a competitor, you might be asked to leave on the spot. And it's not a how dare you. I mean, sometimes that's how people kind of think of it or whatever. But honestly, the reason why you have to leave is because if you've signed a contract with that new employer, your loyalty is split now and we can't have you around confidential competition stuff.
You might leak the Krabby Patty secret formula to Plankton.
That's right.
We can't have that.
That's right. And so it's not that they're how dare you, you're a cast out. It's just a practical kind of a risk decision that you need to leave that day. The great part about it is you don't have to work your notice period. It can actually be great. And because it's their decision to not want you to work it, I mean, this might differ around the world, but all Australian employment law, you put in your notice, hey, I'm giving you 4 weeks notice as per my contract. They go, no, you can't work it. You've got to just sit at home. They have to keep paying you during that period of time. Gardening leave, it's normally in your contract that says that they can require you to not attend the office during that time, but they have to pay you if they're the ones that have made that decision. Great. You get your notice still and you don't have to go to the office. Win-win. But in that situation, I think you do absolutely need to tell them the company that you're going to, because it's information that they need to have, particularly if it's a competitor. So I think you want to proactively offer that information. Just to be fully transparent, the role that I'm moving to is with our competitor. I know that might change whether you want me to finish up or continue working my notice, and I understand if that's the case. Just let me know what you'd like me to do.
Yeah.
Don't assume that you're going to be sent home either, because they might not care and you might have to work your notice. You don't want to go in there thinking, oh, they'll just let me, go home. They might not. You never know.
Bad plan. Let's dive into some reactions that your boss might give. Now, just a quick disclaimer, you are not responsible for other adults' emotions in any capacity. Sometimes bad bosses have a great way of making it feel like your problem, and their reaction can be so explosive that you feel like all you can do is coddle them, try and soothe them, diffuse the situation, but it's not your responsibility. So just remember that no matter what emotions they show, it has nothing to do with you, and you can just divert back to like the example Sarah gave before. Yeah, look, my last day will be, I'm committed to doing what I can. Just link back to the bare facts and get out of there.
Yep. Leave the room if you have to, like if it gets to that point. Your boss could be shocked. They could be sad. They could be mad, or they could be completely fine. And actually, I think all of them can be problematic for different reasons, like depending on how that lands with you. If they're really shocked, that can feel really hard because you feel like you blindsided them and that makes you feel worse. If they're really sad, I think that can be like, oh my God, what have I done? Like I've upset this person. I feel so guilty. Like maybe I should stay. If they're really mad at you, you're like, oh, this next however many weeks is going to be awful. They're going to make my life hell. Oh, this is terrible. What are they going to say about me in reference? What are they going to do? Is this going to hurt my career long term? Or they could be completely fine and maybe they're not even actually fine. Maybe they're just like not reacting in the moment.
Yeah. And then you go, oh, righto then. Why was I even here? No one even appreciates my job or the value. You're just going to be fine without me. That's a spiral as well.
Yes, that's right. And that's actually the exact topic that I want us to do a whole different episode on, because I think it can be really hard post-resignation to deal with the way that people just naturally will react in different ways to the news of you leaving. Company is a company and these aren't your actual family members, and the way that they go about things could be really hurtful, maybe deliberately, but maybe not deliberately. It could feel hurtful even though they might be quite natural reactions. So we're going to do a whole episode about that. So if you like the sound of that one, let us know and we'll bring it up the list. But their reactions are about them, not you. If they're going to be short-staffed and they're going to find it difficult to cover the roster or fill that job or do the whatever, that means that the company that they work for hasn't hired enough people, or they don't have enough redundancy built into their whole system. Not every employee should be working at 110% every single day to get everything working so that the sky doesn't fall in. People should be working at 80% so that people can have a sick day or someone can go on leave and the whole world doesn't collapse. And if they've structured their business not that way, that's not your fault. That's not your boss's fault. That's someone else's fault. So it's not about you. You are not the one who's created the entirety of this situation.
Yes. Keep that in mind. I think this was comprehensive. I think we've gone on a bit of a journey. If you were with us from the start, we were spiraling. We've come to terms with maybe accepting that how it's playing out in our head might not be how the conversation actually goes in reality.
Exactly. And I want to finish with this. I've had so many conversations with managers after they've gotten one of these conversations, after someone's told them that they're leaving. They've gotten a text, an email, a chat, whatever, and they've called me to be like, shit, what are we going to do? This is a disaster. Here's all the things. They did not have that conversation with the person.
Yeah. They're bound to just go, great, happy for you, no worries. And then they go and have their crisis in private.
That's right. What are they going to do? Argue with you? What are they going to do? Beg you to stay? Like, they know all the things that we talked about in this episode. Like, you may get just a raw kind of initial reaction, but you're perfectly valid to leave a job. Everybody knows that. And if they want to go back and try and convince you to stay or whatever, you might find that it actually happens after that first conversation, when they take a second to think about it and go, okay, could we do this? Do I need to talk to someone? Can we get approval? Can we counter offer them? Can we make them stay? What was it about? Oh, it's all these things. I hope that really helps in how we're having this conversation. If it does become that big heart-to-heart that Emma was terrified of, I honestly think that that's, yes, potentially scary, but our little back and forth kind of showed that you're just answering their questions. You're just telling them, like, it was hard. Hey, you feel that anxiety coming in here because you felt a little bit bad, because you feel like, yeah, I know it is hard. I know there's no one to replace me. I factored all that in, but here's the reasons that I've still come to this decision. You're just sharing that. It's going to be okay.
Godspeed.
Thanks so much for listening to Interview Boss. If you like hearing the sound of our voices, follow us on Apple or Spotify or wherever else you listen to your podcasts, or better yet, tell someone else about the show. Send them this episode if they need to resign. That's how we can hit the charts and help even more people all around the world quit their job and get a better one. For more advice, inspiration, and savable content, follow me on LinkedIn or follow us on Instagram. Can you believe we started Interview Boss in 2021?
Not really. It's insane. That's a lot of episodes and a lot of hours of talking.
Oh my gosh, it is. And if you're scrolling through all of our episodes, you might scroll straight past something that you really, really needed.
Yes, we're always getting messages from people asking us to do an episode on something, and I'm like, we already have.
So we've put together playlists to help you find the episodes that are exactly what you need, suited to your situation.
They're all categorized. If you're applying for jobs, we have episodes about resumes, cover letters, job ads. If you've been offered your dream job, we have episodes on resigning, exit interviews, and how to impress at your new company.
And we even have a very special playlist that's very popular for if you have an interview coming up immediately and you need just our most recommended hard-hitting episodes between now and then.
For all our last-minute listeners. It's all there for you. You can browse by category and check out all the playlists at interviewboss.com.au/podcast.